there's easy ways you can practice what you want to grow on by doing small experiments that you can tie into what you're doing. And so he tried 3 experiments. One is he decided he was going to get to the meeting early and greet people as they arrived. Very simple thing, didn't take too much of his time, wasn't difficult. Second thing he did is he sat on the side of the table, not the power position at the end of the table. And the third thing he did was probably the most simple. He said he worked on smiling more often. Triggers for growth really came down to 2 buckets. One was the pain of the present. The other bucket, we called them fantasies of the future. The fantasy self that you have in mind, some sort of ideal self. And I really wanted to pull all of those insights together into a framework that is flexible. And that's one of the meanings of flexing in the title. You can pick up the book, use the practices to learn and grow. And then when growth isn't top of your agenda, you can put the book down and pick it up again. You know, our emotions get in the way of our learning all the time. You know, we're anxious, so we don't try anything new. We're fearful, or we're angry and we can't listen to certain people. And so the question is what strategies do I use to manage my negative emotions? I will say that as I've gotten more senior in my career, anxiety doesn't drive my life as much as it used to. And part of that is perspective that you gained from being more senior, and part of that is, you know, you have a reputation, so there's less to be anxious about. But I do get discouraged, and that emotion can get in the way of me learning and growing. And one of the things I did in the book, I talk about situation modification. And I actually liked this strategy that I did. There was one person who was my direct report when I was the school's senior associate dean, and I was to meet with him once a week or once every couple weeks. And it was a major bummer. He was so negative and so down, and it just sapped my energy. And then I kind of went into his world, and I didn't want to be the leader I could be because it just felt like it took too much energy and effort. So I used situation modification. I told my assistant, I can't talk to this person on Monday or Friday. Any other day I'll be ready, but not those days because it shapes too much of my week. So that's one way that I dealt with a negative emotion. I take to heart the title, which is the flexing word. One of the things that it means is that you can pick this book up and use it and put it down. So I'll tell you about one thing in the recent past and one thing right now. The recent past was the holidays. I'm Christian. I celebrate Christmas. I have 3 daughters, and now 2 of them are married. So all of a sudden, I was in December, and I got very anxious about how is this all going to go? There are now 5 of them coming to our house, and some of them were staying for 15 days because, Mom hasn't seen us. We need to get with her and be nice to her. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, 15 days of dinners, 15 days of lunches, cleaning up, etc. And so I picked up the book and I said, okay, I want to work on becoming more patient during the holidays. So that's how I used it. And I tried different experiments. One thing I tried was having each of the kids and their partner make a dinner, which took, 3 dinners off of my to-do list and put it on theirs. And I just showed up for the dinner. They weren't always very good, but I said not a word. I said, this is great, because my goal was to be patient, and this was helping. The other experiment is time-honored, which is I left the scene. I left the scene a lot. I'd go into my room or go out for a walk or something and come back more patient. In my mind, you can practice every day in your daily experiences, depending on where and how you want to grow. I'll tell you one story from the book. It's about a man named Simon who worked in a very human resources-oriented company, a very personable company. And he had at one point said, more than one person than is comfortable has described me as formidable. And formidable means you have barriers between you and other people. You maybe hold yourself above people. People are a little bit afraid of you. And he said, this is not going to work for me given my company, but it also doesn't work for me given who I want to be, the kind of person I want to be. And so he set a goal on try to become more approachable. And so here's how he practiced it. He was leading a task force, and he used that task force, which was going to take place over 9 months, to practice some things that allowed him to become more approachable to other people. And he tried several different things. The other meaning of flexibility in here is to flex, to try things, do some experiments, see how they go. And so he tried 3 experiments. One is he decided he was going to get to the meeting early and greet people as they arrived. Very simple thing, didn't take too much of his time, wasn't difficult. And he said before that, he would come running in at the last second, distribute the work and get everyone to work, but he literally forgot to say hello. How are you doing? How was your weekend? That kind of things. Second thing he did is he sat on the side of the table, not the power position at the end of the table, because he wanted the more junior people to feel like they could approach him. So he wanted to reduce that power distance. And the third thing he did was probably the most simple. He said he worked on smiling more often because his resting face was a very serious, somber one. He might be thinking warm thoughts, but nobody knew it. So there's easy ways you can practice what you want to grow on by doing small experiments that you can tie into what you're doing anyway and tie into your everyday life. So the book is really meant for everyone because I think many of us hope to grow or feel like we need to grow based on what's happening in the world around us. And the book really allows you to do it. So one question you might have in your mind is, well, when is it going to be useful to me? And my answer would be anytime you feel like there's something that really makes a need to grow. So in the book, we talked to all these people, and the triggers for growth really came down to 2 buckets. One was the pain of the present. There's something in your current situation that isn't going as well as it could. Maybe it's some pain you're experiencing, like you're not happy, or pain you can tell that you're introducing into the situation. And a lot of people wanted to pick up these ideas and grow with them based on that pain. They wanted to get better at something so that it wasn't so painful to interact with a particular colleague or to be more effective or to listen better. They knew there was something they were doing that wasn't working. The other bucket of triggers were, we called them fantasies of the future. And it's really the fantasy self that you have in mind, some sort of ideal self. I always say future Sue is going to be very zen, organized, and calm as she goes through her days. Current Sue has some trouble with that. So that's an area where I want to grow. And at that point, I would pick up the ideas in this book and start to use the experiences I'm having anyway to also work on trying to become more zen as I go through my days. So it's flexible in that you can pick it up, work on something, and then put it down. So I wrote this book because I have spent my career doing teaching aimed at helping people to be effective in their organizational lives, whether they're new people just trying to get on board in an organization or leaders trying to lead well from whatever position they're in, or even when they're not in a leadership position, but they just want to make change. And I really wanted to pull all of those insights together into a framework that is flexible. And that's one of the meanings of flexing in the title. You can pick up the book and use the practices to learn and grow. And then when growth isn't top of your agenda, you can put the book down and pick it up again. So the thing I most want you to know about this book is that it's really designed to help you do something I think all of us want to do, which is to be and become our best self as we go through our lives and as things are changing around us. The book is really designed to get at those changes, not in a huge effort way, but in a minor little effort way, nibble at the corners to bring shape a better you for the future. I always end by wishing people good growth. I hope you keep growth on your agenda, and I hope the book is helpful to you in achieving that growth. So thank you for spending this time with me.